Okay, so Trump is not smart. I think that's the most polite way I could possibly say it. He's dumber than a wet bag of mice. He really is. So, this impeachment inquiry has started. And it's not because there wasn't evidence to impeach him on previous grounds for the previous 3 years. There absolutely has. And as I've said before, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have been protecting him in every conceivable way possible. And even with this impeachment inquiry that started, they're still protecting him by making sure that the actual inquiry is as limited as possible. They are only focusing on this one phone call. They are refusing to go through his finances. They are refusing to go through the Mueller report, which clearly counted of 8 obstructions of justice. They are refusing to go through monuments violations. They are refusing to go through all these things that that would have easily seen a Democrat president being impeached like that. They refuse over and over again. So, I've even seen a few talking heads on American network stations saying Nancy Pelosi was so brilliant that now she's doing it. She waited her time. She waited and bided her time. No, she's doing it now because she absolutely has to. They have been forced into a position and they are keeping things incredibly limited because constantly they are protecting Trump. But now that they have to because Donald Trump's phone call with Ukraine was a big cock up. And not that he hasn't done it before, but also how he's acted about it has been a massive cause for concern. And Trump obviously is saying that he's innocent and that there was nothing wrong. It was a perfect phone call. I understand how you can have a perfect phone call, but this is a man who goes around saying he is a very stable genius. Right, okay. But even then, if you're that adamant that you're innocent and you've done nothing wrong, release the transcript. But we know that the transcript has been, the phone call, the recorded phone call, because it was from the president, obviously has to be recorded. We know that phone call, the recordings, was taken from the main server and put into a special hidden server so that no one can actually access it. You wouldn't do that if it was an innocent phone call. But even then, they released a memo. Not even a transcript, a memo. And in this memo, he clearly broke the law. I've said that before. This is not even a transcript. This is not word for word verbatim. This is a memo. This is the Trump administration saying, see, here's the rough idea of what he said, and he's innocent. Unbelievably stupid. But now he's gone on TV and he's done the exact same thing again. I'm going to leave a link down to Huffington Post where I read this, and it even gives you the video footage. Trump saying that Ukraine and China should investigate Joe Biden. In this very, very public setting, he's asking China and Ukraine to investigate his political opponent. That is the root of all the issues. Now, you can very easily say it was just a TV interview and he's just speaking off the cuff. And yes, I would absolutely get that. But if you had any sense about you whatsoever, giving the impeachment inquiry has started based on you asking a foreign government to research a political opponent, you would not come out on TV and say the exact same thing. You wouldn't. But Trump is not a smart man. Trump is a moron. There is a very good reason why we only get brief clips of him in the UK, and that's because any prolonged exposure and you'll see, wow, guy's a fucking idiot. Over and over again, you'll see it. Even if you just go through his Twitter feed, the man is a moron. It does make me wonder with a lot of things. Where I wondered for about 10 seconds and then I realised what he'd been doing over the last few years. But if you worked in the Trump administration, you'd take his phone off of him. Because again, as I've said, there are 100 different things that you could impeach Donald Trump for. And the stuff he comes out with on Twitter is absolutely one of them, because he admits to breaking the law. And even more than that, he consistently shows that he is not mentally stable. Despite him coming out and saying he's known as a very stable genius, no, follow the man. You don't even have to follow it. Just read through his Twitter feed over a couple of days. This man is not mentally stable to be president. So you'd think if you were working in his administration, you'd just take the phone off of him. You'd think about it and you'd go, you know what? Yeah, you really shouldn't be doing these TV interviews anymore. Let's stop. You're walking anywhere, we'll get rid of the cameras. Or have someone come out and just rugby tackle the dumb fuck, so that he doesn't say anything more incriminating. And he does it over and over again. For 3 years, we've seen this man come out on multiple TV interviews, on multiple calling interviews, on his Twitter feed, where he openly admits to breaking the law. And again, if he was on the Democrats' team, he would have been impeached by the Republicans. But the Republicans won't touch him, despite the amount of damage he's doing to the Republican Party. And so far, the Democrats have been hindered because Nancy Pelosi has to sign off on an impeachment inquiry, which she's just done. But again, as I said, it's incredibly limited. So why is his team letting him do this? Because he surrounded himself with yes men. He surrounded himself with people who honestly aren't that bright. And you'll get that from just the memo that they released. The memo clearly states that he broke a very serious law. He asked Ukraine to dig up dirt on Joe Biden. Now, if Joe Biden had washed his hands and said, you know, I'm done with politics, done forever, we'd be having a different conversation. But the fact that Biden is an active politician and is viewed wrongly, in my opinion, viewed as a credible threat to Donald Trump in the 2020 election, that makes this illegal. He's not saying, hey, you know that guy who used to be VP now has nothing to do with politics? Yeah, you should probably look into why his son got that very lucrative deal, which absolutely you should. But the fact that the president has done it and Biden is still an active politician, that's what makes this illegal. And the morons that Trump surrounds himself put out a memo telling the world, yes, this absolutely happened, but it's okay because he didn't use the specific words. Doesn't matter. Intent is incredibly difficult to prove, but it's in that memo. Sometimes I'm amazed at how dumb Donald Trump is. But today, I am more amazed at the level of stupidity that he has surrounded himself with. Everyone remotely competent he sacked, or they just won't work with him. It says a lot. It really does.